Hey everybody, Sean here. Um, I just finished doing a session here in my office. This is the first actual face-to-face session that I've had with anyone in more than 3 weeks at this point. Um, and there were a number of reasons why the session needed to be done face to face. We both wore masks the whole time. We both gelled up before and after. I disinfected the space after they left. Um, and like there's not been anybody in my office in 3 weeks. So, um, full disclosure on all of that. Like, tried to make sure that they were aware that there was always a possibility of risk and blah blah blah. And we needed to meet face to face, so we did. Anyway, that's really not the point. The reason I wanted to talk to you for a minute was because there was the session today really focused on something that I think is a recurrent theme in many sessions, and for a lot of us in general, and that is specifically focusing on issues of negative self-perception, understanding that how we see ourselves and when we tend to see ourselves as being less than or less worthy, or unworthy, that ends up informing how we see and engage with the world around us. So, Brene Brown, in her recent Netflix special, she talked about the story that I'm telling myself, the story that I'm telling myself, and I love this concept because I think it really helps to illustrate this thing that most of us do when we don't have all the information or we don't have all the facts, and we try really hard to fill in the narrative, try to fill in the gaps for the information that we don't have. And it's a human thing to do. We are all trying to make order out of chaos. We're all trying to understand the world. It gives us a stronger sense of control. It gives us a better sense of grounding. And so we all do this. When we don't have all the information, we work on trying to create narrative that helps to fill in the gaps for ourselves and helps us to feel like we have a stronger understanding of what's actually going on. The thing that's tricky about that is that the way in which we tend to fill in those gaps is directly related to the way our lens, the way we see and engage with the world, also is constructed. And so, at a fundamental level, if we do not think that we are worthy, or if we believe that we are not important, or shouldn't be important in some way, that ends up playing a role in how we construct this narration. Like that narrative is formed with that there. Our lenses, however warped our lenses might be, end up being the thing that really helps us fill in these gaps and create this narrative. And so if we're coming from a place where we're already down on ourselves and we already don't think that we're worthy, then the narration that we're going to create around whatever's going on uses that as a centerpiece in the story that we build out, right? So if we're talking about, somebody who has ghosted us or has become non-responsive for some reason, we might start to tell ourselves that the reason that has occurred is because of the fact that this person doesn't like us, or the fact that this person doesn't think that we're good enough, that we're not worth their time, right? Like, we might start filling in all these gaps in a way that really centers our insecurity in that, and could be completely erroneous. We can't be that assumptive. We don't know what's going on with that individual, and especially these days with all of the hoo-ha that is going on around us. The world is a very complicated and strange place right now, and there could be all kinds of reasons why somebody isn't responding to you. It could be that somebody that's very close to them has become ill, or worse. Could be that they themselves are ill. Could be that they're really stressed out and socially depressed and are having a hard time socially engaging with anybody at the moment because that's just too heavy a lift for them to do at this time. But but whatever their reasons are, it's their reasons, right? It's about them. It's not about you. And I don't mean to say that in any kind of flip way, like that's not the intent here. You know, it's just, I think, important to remember that a lot of times where we're coming from with these assumptions is really rooted in our insecurities. So Don Miguel Ruiz wrote a book a while ago called The Four Agreements. And I'm not just trying to promote product here, and I get no kickback. Believe me. The book's an interesting read, but the Four Agreements specifically, I think, are really worth sort of spending a little time contemplating and thinking about. And my favorite among those, and probably the one I found the hardest for myself, was don't take anything personally. Nothing anybody else does is because of you. It is a projection of their own realities. And that concept was really overwhelming and a little mind-blowing to me the first time I sort of encountered it. And I was very resistant. Let me just say, like, when I first read this, I was like, no, that's not true. No, I don't buy this at all. But I will tell you that the longer I sat with it and the more I sort of had to think about that, the more I came to understand that actually it's not wrong. It really is about them. It really is about me. The things that I do are really about me. So, again, I get it. Hard concept to sort of sit with, and something that we don't necessarily want to believe, even about ourselves, because oftentimes we want to think that we're behaving in ways that are truly selfless. But even under those circumstances, we're doing so under conditions of which these are things that are important to me. Like, this is what's meaningful to me to do this. You know, when I do something for somebody that I love, yes, it's for them, but it's because of my care. It's because of my concern. The motivation behind that is coming from within me. And so how I respond, if I respond, you know, has a lot more to do with me than it does with them. Yeah, this is tricky. I'm telling you, sit with it for a little while. If you get a chance, check out the Four Agreements. You don't have to read the whole book. Like, you can Google the Four Agreements and it'll tell you what the Four Agreements are. But when you sit down, you really start to rationalize through and start really thinking about it. Like, this one in particular, like I said, I was highly resistant to this in the beginning. But one of the things that I thought was just brilliant about this was how much it set me free. And I think this is true for a lot of people. Like, how many of us, when we start to realize that what somebody does or what somebody doesn't do is because of them. It's their actions, their responsibilities. It's their insights. It's their insecurities and hopes and all of the rest of that. That's what's motivating that person. When I got to that place, I realized I could set myself free and do a better job of countering my own internal negative narrative to say, this isn't about me. This is about them. And that's something I am not capable of controlling. I can't control someone else. I only can control my reactions. I can only control my emotions. I can only control who I am under the circumstances. I can't control somebody else. They have to do that for themselves. That's on them. And I think, especially in a personal way, incredibly liberating, and something that I think really helped me a lot once I spent some time with it. And it's taken, like I said, it's taken me a while. And maybe you'll get it a lot faster than I did. I mean, I'm not, certainly not trying to indicate that I'm, that it will take you that long. It may not. I think I had my own, I think I had some of my own issues there that I was trying to sort of overcome and deal with a little bit on that, before I could sort of settle into and realize that I was the same way. I was motivated by my loves and my cares and my insecurities and my hopes and my dreams, just like everybody else is. And that's okay. But that also helps to understand when it's been 5 hours since that last text message, or I'm always the one who picks up the phone first to call them, or whatever, is really not the point. The point is, I need to ask for what I need. And it's incumbent on me to press forward and try to do the things that are important to me. That's true for everybody else. And sometimes those interests or issues may align with others, and that works out great. And sometimes those issues don't. And that's okay too. And it's not because you're not worthy or I'm not worthy that there's been some sort of divergence there. Sometimes it's just the way it is. Anyway, just some thoughts for the day. I hope that you are having a good one wherever that you are. It's a gray, sort of tornado-y sort of day here in the South, and that's creating some chaos for a lot of folks, in addition to the chaos that we're already kind of under and dealing with at the moment. But I hope that you have a blessed day. I hope that you stay safe and keep in contact with those that you love and care about. And don't worry about scorekeeping, about who called who first. If you need to hear from somebody, reach out, contact that person, okay? Because you never know what struggles they might be dealing with themselves and why they may not be reaching back out to you. Take care of yourselves, beloved, and I'll talk to you soon.